So here at With Love Bridal Boutique, we offer alterations to all of our brides. We have a fantastic alterations team that time and time and again just creates the most beautiful, form-fitted version of the bride's wedding dress. By the time your alterations are done, your dress should look like it is so form-fitted, it is part of your body. Almost every bridal gown is going to need some sort of alteration somewhere. Now there's lots of different things that can happen to a dress or may need to happen to a dress, and for every bride the alterations experience is going to be completely different because your wedding dress is going to be unique not only to you but to your body in creating the full unique vision that you have. So starting from the beginning, if you are special ordering your wedding dress or even buying your wedding dress off the rack, chances are that somewhere down the line of the dress, you're going to need some tweaks, alterations to make sure that it's fitting you perfectly. So say you're special ordering your wedding dress. So generally when you're trying on bridal gowns, you're gonna be wearing a sample dress. Now the idea behind this is most boutiques only have one of each dress. So when you're trying on a dress that you really love and it's too big for you, that's where your consultant comes in to clip the dress onto your body. This is just gonna help really form fit the look, make sure that the dress looks nice and form fitted to you. It's going to help show you how the dress is going to lay on your body. So if you want to see the front, the bridal consultant can clip the back, and if you want to see how the back lays, the bridal consultant can clip you in the front. So these are all little tricks that we can use in order to make sure that you really get the idea of what your dress is going to look like when it's in your size and fitting you properly. So say you've got your sample dress on that you absolutely love, you found your wedding dress, you want to get measured and figure out what size you're going to be ordering. So now, depending on whatever designer you've chosen, every designer's got their own size chart. So you're never going to be the same size in every single wedding dress that you try. And keep in mind also that with bridal gown sizing, it tends to be 2 sizes up from what you would usually wear. So if you're usually a 6, you'll probably be wearing a size 10 wedding gown. And again, this can fluctuate as different designers have their own different size charts. So once you've picked your dress and you're going through the designer size chart, your consultant is going to measure you. They're going to measure your bust, waist, and hip measurements. They can do your height if the designer offers special length, or you're petite bride and you need a dress that's custom length to your height, that kind of thing. So once your measurements have been taken, you're going to be comparing them to the size chart of the designer. So they're going to be looking at your bust measurement, waist measurement, hip, and seeing where it falls and which size each measurement falls in which category. So say that your bust is a size 6, your waist is a size 8, and your hips are a size 6. In this case, you're going to be wanting to go with an 8. This is going to fit you really perfectly in the hip, and that way you're going to need alterations in order to get the bust in and the hips in if it's a fitted dress. If it's a ball gown, then you only really have to worry about taking the bust in. And that is where alterations comes in. So fast forward about 4 to 6 months and your dress has arrived in the store, you're gonna be coming in for your meet the dress appointment. So basically this appointment is for you to come in, try your wedding dress on and see how the fit is, and it's also lovely to get the full look, play around with your accessories, and then you will be booking your alterations appointment for 6 weeks before your wedding day. The 6-week timeline has been created because it's enough time to get any sort of alteration work done on the dress, but also your body is going to be as close to the size as it will be on the wedding day. So as I mentioned, every dress and every bride is going to need different alterations. And there are so many things that can happen to a dress. So basically there are alterations that are going to be a little bit more custom making things, and then there's alterations that are going to be the must-haves that almost every bride is going to want or need to have done to the dress. So to start off with the alterations that are the must-have alterations, I would say 99% of brides get cups sewn right into their dress. It's going to be the best way in order to get whatever lift that you want, but not wear an actual bra, so that you don't have to worry like if it's a strapless that your bra strap will be coming out, or to avoid any rubbing with the dress since the dress is going to be so form-fitted to your body. So another must-have alteration would be the hem. So unless you are getting customized length gown ordered, then you are going to want a hem depending on your shoe height. So with that, basically the seamstress is going to be trimming the front of the dress in order so that it's just sort of dusting the ground as you walk. You don't want it to be dragging at all and having worries that you're going to be tripping, because you could be dealing with a lot of layers and a lot of dress. You want to make sure that you can walk properly. So with a hem, it's going to be, again, different for every dress, because some dresses have hem lace on them or a lot of detail, in which case the seamstress is going to have to take off that hem lace, cut the dress to the length that you need, and then replace the hem lace so you're not losing any of the beautiful detail. And then you have wedding gowns that have a really nice simple bottom. This is going to be a little bit easier to hem, so you just trim it, bring it up, and re-hem the bottom of the dress. A lot of times brides are going to need a take-in somewhere up and down the dress. So when ordering a dress, I always recommend ordering the size that you are fitting that day. A lot of times if brides are thinking that their bodies might be changing before the wedding day, always order what you are measuring, and then whatever happens after, that's going to be your alterations. So if you do lose weight before your wedding, you can always get the dress taken in. If your body fluctuates a lot and you don't know if you're going to be gaining weight, then I would go maybe a size up. But you want to make sure that the dress is always going to be either too big or fitting just right, as opposed to too small, because it's always easier and more cost effective to take a dress in as opposed to take a dress out. A lot of time there's not a lot of fabric to work with. Then you could be looking at different kind of customizations and panels on the side to create a bigger dress for your body. So with a bride needing a take-in somewhere, generally it's just at the top of the dress, because a lot of times women's bust size are going to be very different. So they make the bust on dresses a little bit more bigger to accommodate larger busts, and that way if you have a smaller bust, you're just going to have it altered and taken in up top to make sure that it's lying flat against your chest and fitting you properly, because with that part of the dress, that's the part you want fitted perfectly. So generally with the bridal gowns, the seamstress is going to take the dress in on the side seam of the dress. If it's got a lot of detail, generally you can take that detail off, hem the dress, put the detail back on so that you're not losing any sort of pretty beadwork or any lace appliques, and it's not going to look in the end like your dress has been altered. It's going to look like it was made that way. The next must-have alteration is going to be a bustle. Most of the time, I would say every bridal gown gets bustled. This is basically a term used to describe being able to clip up your train for your evening, so that way when you're dancing, moving around, you don't have the long train or skirt getting in the way. You don't want people stepping on your dress, tripping on it, that kind of thing. So most of the time with gowns, they get bustled right up so that the skirt becomes basically the same length all the way around, and the bride can move around a little bit more freely. Now there's lots of different bustles that can be made, and every dress is going to suit sort of a different bustle. So now there is lots of different kinds of bustle. There's a 1-point bustle, 3-point bustle, French bustle, American. There's 1 under, 2 under, 1 over, 3 over. Lots of different options, and this is also going to be something that you kind of plan out with your seamstress. They're going to show you a couple of different options and what they think is going to really look good with the type of dress, skirt, and train that you have, just to make it look really pretty and flattering and make it and really highlight the skirt's details, as opposed to looking like the bustle's not supposed to be there. So a lot of times with a bustle, basically you're going to have maybe some ribbons strapped underneath the dress. This is going to pull up the under layers of the dress, and then you will have sort of a loop, a fabric loop put in about halfway down the train, and that can clip up to the top of the train. So this is, again, just something that's going to be a customization, but I would say almost every dress is going to need to be bustled. So another thing that can really help brides get the full unique vision that they're looking for in their dress is when you're doing customized alterations. So a lot of times brides can either have little bits of beading added to the bodice if they've loved the style, they love the lace, but they feel like it's missing a little bit of sparkle. You can always add a little bit of beading to the bodice or somewhere along the train in order to really create that look that you love. A lot of times if you found a strapless dress that you love, but you want to have a strap, it's always possible to add a cap sleeve, and that's something that can either be, maybe you can order extra lace that matches your dress, or maybe you can just use lace from your hem and use it towards your sleeve. So that's another option that can really create a unique look for a bride. Also for accessories, if a bride has found a belt that she loves that goes really well on the dress, a lot of times you can just get that belt sewn right onto the bodice of the dress, unless you want to have, you know, the two looks of wearing a belt for part of the day, taking it off for another part of the day, or that kind of thing. It's really going to be nice and simple for you to not worry about the tie on the belt coming loose, or if you don't like the look of a bow in the back, you can sew the belt right onto the dress. Going back to the wedding dress having a lot of layers, a lot of times there's going to be, depending on the skirt of the dress, there could be crinoline underneath the dress, which is that sort of rough tulle fabric that's going to be giving you that volume. So if you're trying on your dress and you don't want it to be as voluminous as it is, you can have oftentimes some of that crinoline removed, and this is going to help the top of the skirt lay a little bit more smoothly, more flat, so that you don't have as much poof. Or another option is that you can have crinoline added to the dress, so you can actually add more of that tulle fabric in order to create more poof and more volume on your dress. A lot of times too, your bridal boutique might have crinoline bodices that you can actually stick under the dress. So there's mermaid ones, A-line ones, you can have a hoop skirt underneath your ball gown, which basically is just going to really create that volume look. It's going to poof that skirt out even more. If you are purchasing your wedding dress, try to keep in mind that you are going to be needing some sort of alteration, and depending on what you're going to need done, the alterations can range from about $400 to $600. It's somewhere in there. It could be a window. Unless you want, you know, a lot of customizations, then it can be more. Unless you don't need that much done, it can be less. So that's just a window of things that you might need done. Remember to work that into your bridal budget. Lots of different things that can be done to a wedding dress, and by the end of the day, it's not going to look like your dress was altered. It's going to look like it was made that way. So that's the beauty behind alterations. There's so many possibilities with it. And by the time your alterations are done, your dress should be fitting you absolutely perfectly. Your vision should be coming to life, and you will be all ready for your wedding day.